So the FBI is now getting involved, or has been involved, I guess, with the UFO phenomenon. They are investigating it. That is what Ryan Graves said on NewsNation. We just had the pleasure of having Ryan Graves on this show, and I just take him very seriously. He's a serious dude, and you can understand why. And he was talking to NewsNation about the fact that how they've been discussing with the FBI for a little bit. Let me play this for you guys, and we'll kind of see what the implications of this is. Here, take a look.
This is the first time the public is learning of this secret group, this probe into UFOs. You've spoken to these agents. Who are they, and what exactly are they working on right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So these agents have taken upon this responsibility as a part of a bottoms-up approach in order to understand what potential illegalities might be occurring with objects that are operating within our airspace that we're not properly tracking or mitigating. The FBI has both a law enforcement as well as a counterintelligence responsibility. So having objects that are harassing military bases as well as the general public over our national airspace squarely fits within their domain of responsibilities.
Yeah. You know, I think a lot of Americans are listening to this segment right now, seeing this headline saying, what, FBI agents, looking into UFOs? How long have they been a group, Ryan, and tasked with investigating them?
Well, my understanding is that they kicked off this work in about 2020. We've been engaging with them for the past year and a half. And what that primarily looks like, we receive a lot of reports at Americans for Safe Aerospace, some that might have serious national security implications. And so with the permission of the pilots or the witnesses, we've referred the pilot to interview with these groups such that these agents can then follow up on the reports, gather additional information, talk to additional witnesses, and look for gaps in our national security that they can address for the nation.
Mm-hmm. Do you know if they found anything so far? I mean, have they told you anything, any specifics?
Well, of course, they're limited to what they can share with me about these ongoing investigations. I'm not read in or part of the group in an official capacity necessarily. We're essentially trying to do the right thing by ensuring these gaps don't go unmitigated. But from what I understand is that their investigations have been very fruitful, and they've been able to move the ball both in an unclassified and classified regime forward quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. And I understand several of them have told you that they're worried about losing their job in a Trump-targeted purge, since a lot of them worked on January 6th cases. Agents across the board have to fill out this questionnaire about their work on the Capitol attack. What are they sharing with you on that end, and what would your message to the White House be in regards to that?
Yeah, there are expected to be a number of purges within the FBI, and although this isn't a classified effort, it is a quiet effort within the Bureau, and the fear was that these agents would get wrapped up into this larger removal of agents within the FBI and leave the UAP investigation essentially hung and dry where it is. So my message would be to the administration is to recognize the fantastic work that these agents are doing for our national security, and to ideally, directly to Director Patel, to formalize this effort within the agency and resource them so they can continue and expand their efforts.
I mentioned right off the top, a lot of us heard your congressional testimony last year. You've given us a lot of time here at NewsNation, which we're so appreciative of. You've sounded the alarm here on this network in the past, calling for more protections for whistleblowers who have come forward to testify before Congress about these UFOs. Ryan, where do your concerns stand now as far as whistleblowers being willing and able to speak out?
Well, there absolutely is still concern from whistleblowers and even just witnesses. I'll separate those two a little bit, because whistleblowers may have classified information they wish to share, where witnesses may have critical information to a national security concern that is of interest to the FBI. I'm not aware of if or how specific any investigation into classified efforts go within the FBI working group, but the work that has been done with the witnesses has been incredibly fruitful, and I think a lot of our witnesses are very appreciative that there is a serious agency that's looking into their concerns.
When I'm doing my out of the theater reactions, I have a pretty solid set of personal opinions that I have as soon as I see the movie and that I form after I see it. However, I do like to listen to what other people are thinking.
even if they have a completely different view of mine. And I think about the same thing when it comes to news. Now, I know that a lot of you people are looking for a new news outlet. I know that you are. And if you're looking for a source that keeps facts fair and it keeps it balanced, you got to check out Straight Arrow News, because they are all about cutting through the noise, and Americans have actually rated their reporting as right down the middle. If you're watching this channel, that's what we try to do, right down the middle. So I use SAN to research a lot of the topics that I talk about on Down to Earth. I do a lot of the research of stuff that's going on in the news in general, so I'm well read about it. Their app helps me gather insights and different perspectives. So check out Straight Arrow News for yourself. You go to san.com/Harloff. Now, subscribing through my link, it supports both me and an amazing organization. So check it out. Link is in the description.
All right, so this really could be something huge if it's handled in the way that Ryan Graves believes that it is. And the reason I say that is, like, look at the government agency that was tasked with this, right? And that is the DOD. And then you had that cockamamie Sean Kirkpatrick running around the joint that there's certain people you look at, you just don't trust him regardless. And he was one of those people, because you never get a straight answer out of the guy. And plus the fact that majority of these whistleblowers didn't feel comfortable coming forward to talk to him, like all of them. That to me, again, is you can say, well, they invited him in. Why does every single one of the people, why is there always, there's never really someone who goes, yeah, he's pretty helpful. He was great. I don't know what you're talking about. He's a great guy. Wife and I had him over last week for pot roast. Great dude. You don't hear that about him. But the FBI looking into this, and the FBI being the ones that are taking this serious, if they started from like 2020, leading into then 2023, as Ryan mentioned, the last year and a half, which would line up to when he and Fravor and Grush spoke at that hearing, which was August of 2023, so about a year and a half ago, give or take. Is that right? Yeah, about that. Either way. So if he feels they've already made progress and that they are looking into this, you do see the concerns overall of, like, what are some of these people that have been working on it, are they going to be taking off because of other things that they've worked on in the past, like January 6th and other things? And will they be taken up, and will that kind of hurt the work? Now, the other side of that is, are there other people there too that are working on it that weren't involved in anything too and won't be removed? I think that it is what is the ultimate goal, and it's what I talked about yesterday on the show, where I am just curious about what it's always that thing of people who are going to be elected, whether it's student council or anything too. And I always use the example of, hey, if I get elected student council president, it's pizza every single day for the rest of your time here. Even when you come back to visit 20 years later, you'll still get pizza. Really? You can do that? Yeah, I can do that. And then I get elected, and it's like, no, I can't do that. I wanted to do that. I just can't do that. And I feel like that's every administration anywhere for anything. And then, I get elected. You're going to get that. We're going to get to the bottom of this UFO thing. Are we? Maybe this is part of those things. Maybe it's just the thing that rubbed me the wrong way was the answer on the drones. The nonchalant, it was FAA tests and other things. What about, no, that's all we're talking. No, what about, no, that's all we're going to discuss with that. We're not even going to bring this up anymore. That's what the FAA told us. We believe them. It's like, you want to see, well, wait a minute. They should be the ones really looking into it. And you hope that if the FBI is looking into this and they go, these are the things that we found. This is the footage that we found. These are the classified things that we think that should be declassified. These are the things that should stay classified for national security. These are the things that were reported that we believe are actually legit. Like, they're the ones that are actually investigating it now, to where you say, okay, I have a lot more confidence now that the FBI is doing it and not, Sean Kirkpatrick and the crew. So I feel like this is encouraging, but it's also, I can also see the pushback in the comments of like, what's the difference? Another government agency who's just going to bend the knee, which also could be true. But what it does do is, and again, it's always NewsNation, and props to them for actually speaking to Ryan Graves and other people. The fact that the FBI officially has a UFO program that's been functioning since 2020, and it's not covered anywhere else. How is that on a story? Imagine if I told you that in 2010, hey, the FBI has a program where they're looking into UFOs, and it's legit. It's real. It's not just BS. They're legit looking into claims and other things, and they're finding information out. How is that not a news story everywhere? How is that not? Okay, on tonight's stories, the 5 main headlines. The FBI has a UFO program. It's so strange. It's not even strange anymore. It's just irresponsible. The mainstream media, you are all an embarrassment. All of you. CNN, Fox, MSNBC, all of you. You're an embarrassment. You're such an embarrassment. The same stories that you just cover for over and over and over again. And then you repeat the same information. Okay, there's a big, huge story out there, right? Here's all the information that we have. Here's everything that you want to know. Right? Look at the really tragic, unfortunate crash that happened. And then they cover it. And then they tell you the information. And then they stop. And then they bring in a guest and tell you the same information. And then they bring somebody else and go over and ask them what they think about that information. And then they show the same footage. And then it's the same information for an hour. And it's like, I understand covering that story. Oh, boy, do I. And the families and everybody else needs closure, and you've got to find everything that you can. But focus in on other stories also, because there's other things happening in the world that we might need to know about. Not just this. I'm just talking about in general, in the way that they do it. It's like, well, that's what's getting ratings right now. So let's do that. Let's just cover this over and over and over and over, the same bits, even if we don't have anything. Just cover the same bits. Come back to it when you have more information. Of course, I want to know the updates on the stories, but tell me other things that are going on. The FBI has a UFO program that they actually found information about. They can't tell us yet what it is, but here is a former ex-Navy pilot who is going to discuss that with us. This should be on every news program, not one. It's embarrassment. You all should be embarrassed. And like I said, it's not just about this topic. It's just the way that, in general, it's not a new thing. It's been happening it's Nightcrawler. If you've ever seen that movie Nightcrawler, that's what this is. You're all an embarrassment. Every single one of you. The anchors, every one of you, embarrassment. Anyway, so thank you for being here today. What do you think about this FBI program? You think it's a good thing? A nothing thing? Put your thoughts in there. Let me know. All right. Thank you again for joining us on the show. I really appreciate you being here. Hit that subscribe button. Click that like button. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere podcasts are found. We are going to be doing a UAP Tuesday with myself and Attack Peter, probably a little later today. So stick around and we'll see you soon.